What you need to know for this is that the system that's supposed to be safeguarding our biodiversity in the province is the old growth management area system. And this is a table on what we were promised and what we actually have now. And this is directly from the review that is in the hands of the NDP right now. What was committed to? Adaptive management through continuous monitoring and regular updates. What we have now? No substantial monitoring or updates since implementation in 1995. What was committed to? Periodic reviews of the entire old growth and biodiversity management system. What we have now? None to date. What was committed to? Biodiversity targets for retention of old forests was set at various levels above the minimum threshold of 30%. What we have now. Some areas were lowered by subsequent political decisions, some lower than the minimum threshold. I don't want to speak to this for a second because it's also addressed in the review. When we created our policies, we allowed it that only if we deemed an area a high biodiversity emphasis area, will we try to meet the minimum threshold to avoid ecosystem collapse. If it was intermediate, we would cut that by 1/3. And if it is a low biodiversity emphasis, like many of the areas around the province, we would cut that by 2/3. Down from the minimum threshold of 30% to 10%. And yet, that doesn't explain why we have less than 10% of so many of our ecosystems left and we continue to log them. For that, it's the last bar in the chart, which is old growth would contain old forests, and preferably some of the best. What we have now. Many old growth management areas do not contain old forests, and some contain forests less than 40 years old. I've been to these old growth management areas, and I've sat on the biggest stumps I've ever seen. That's what's happening. As we get to the end of our old growth, our loggable old growth, we are simply moving our protected areas into clear cuts and clear cutting our old growth. That will be the end of our forests. And that is why we're here, and we're not going away until this review is listened to.